We preview this week's Missouri Valley Conference game of the week as the UNI Panthers go on the road to take on the Drake Bulldogs. And joined with us today is Laura Leonard, analyst for the ESPN Plus broadcast. I'm Brad Wells. We'll have the call. Also with us is Tanya Warren, 15th year head coach at UNI, and Allison Pohlman, first year head coach at the Drake Bulldogs basketball program. And Coach Pohlman, I want to start with you. In-state rivalry game. You've been a part of a lot of these as a coaching staff, but also as a player in your time at UNI. How did you approach those in-state rivalry games as a player?
Well, they're just so amazing for our state. I love the fact that, like everybody can just come out and be a fan of women's basketball in general. And I think it just goes to, the wealth of talent really in our state. It runs very, very deep. And I think it's a special environment, one for our fans, but also for our teams, to be able to, whether they have AAU teammates on the other teams, whether they have, even high school teammates on the other teams. I think it's just a really cool experience for not only our teams, but also our coaching staffs to be able to just really talk about how great basketball is at the collegiate level here in the state of Iowa.
A lot of overlap between the two rosters, looking at AAU teams and high school teams. Coach Warren, you were an assistant at UNI. Talk about Allison as a player, conference defensive player of the year and runner-up to the Jackie Stiles Trophy Award. What were her best attributes as a ball player?
Well, she was a competitor. She defended extremely well. She could score in a variety of ways, a very good mid-range dribble jump shot shooter, could get to the rim and finish with contact. And as she got in her junior and senior year, she shot the three with consistency, which really made her hard to guard because she could post, she could put it on the floor, and then she could shoot the three. But just a tremendous competitor.
Can I add something? I think that there's a vein and some gray hair that's named Allison.
There's a little truth to that.
I know. And I can't dispute it. I honestly go back and I'm like, holy cow, because you just, I wish some days you wish you had a few practices back.
Yeah, but I will say this, as I said, she was a tremendous competitor. She was a great leader. She had no problem wanting the big shot, taking the big shot, holding her teammates accountable. She played the game the right way. She really did.
Well, Allison, you gave us just a little preview of what Tanya was like a coach. So give us a little more insight as to what it was like playing for Tanya as a coach.
Well, I think what's amazing is, so often and how we did things at UNI, you have your position coach. And so there was a lot of pre-practices, spent with Coach Warren. And, I think the great thing, what really special coaches do is they figure out ways to really push your buttons. And it's not necessarily that sounds so negative, but it's really in a very positive, very loving sort of way. And I think that's one of the things. I think we had such a mutual respect for one another. And there were days where it was just, where ultimately it's about getting the best out of you and being a competitor, it's really driven by, more than anything, your coach is getting the best things out of you. And I think, those days spent at UNI with Coach Warren, a lot of my success is attributed to the coaches that I had while there. You fill your coaching bag with a lot of different things and a lot of different experiences, and mine were phenomenal ones. And I learned a lot as kind of a, small town Iowa girl who thought she knew everything, and plenty of days, acting that way, and still, clearly figuring it out on the fly. And I reflect a lot on those experiences. And I was really extremely lucky to have those coaches in my life. And, and Coach Warren, funny enough, I love the fact we always used to play, like games, we'd play 5-on-5 games, and a couple of our assistant coaches always had teams. And man, she'd get fiery. She would just, she'd be yelling Tony DeCecco would be like, call some fouls, like figure it out. And so you talk about competitiveness. She's definitely a competitor as well. And I know when they were picking out teams, I'd always want her to be my coach because I knew she'd go to bat. I knew she'd be fiery and really, really wishing us the best and wanting us to compete to win.
Well, let's talk about a couple of players that are kind of new to the scene. Talk a little bit, Allison, about Megan Meyer and what she has brought to the program, and just what you see and how she has progressed since she's come to Drake.
Well, I think the great thing about Megan is she's just really ultimately been absorbed into our system. One of the things that she's always, her skill set really fits exactly what we do. She shoots the three extremely well. She's been putting the ball on the floor, and now she's kind of, had to step into a little bit of a different role of having to play a few more point guard minutes. And so just with that and her versatility of being able to do numerous things, she's flourished. And I think she's done a nice job of being able to set up her team. And, she had a game of 11 assists, which, was a lot of fun to watch for her to be able to set up teammates and such. But she's been a phenomenal addition. And I think her teammates would say the exact same thing.
And Coach Warren, excuse me, somebody that is not necessarily a newcomer, but is getting more minutes, Grace Buffelli. She really has had an impact over the last few games. Just where have things kind of progressed for her, and what has she added to the team?
Well, it really started towards the end of the season for Grace last year. First of all, she just makes a lot of things happen. She plays the game extremely hard. She never takes possessions off. She's a relentless rebounder. She loves contact. She's a great communicator. She does a lot of little things that don't show up in the stat sheet. And there's always time. You have to have her on the floor because of her ability to communicate and her willingness to get down and do the little things. But she's really flourished, rebounding the basketball. And then offensively, she's starting to be more comfortable shooting the basketball from 15 and out, and has really understood that as she goes, this team goes. And you don't see that very often from a 5-4-5 position. But as she goes, we go, because of her ability to make plays without the basketball and her great ability to communicate.
We're previewing Friday night's women's basketball game. It's the game of the week on the ESPN app. It is UNI at Drake. And I want to talk a little bit, something I think both of you guys having an impact on the athletes that you have coached. You both have players that you coached currently on staff. And Allison, I want to start with you. Becca Hittner, a grad assistant, a 3-time Jackie Stiles Player of the Year. How excited are you to have Becca back on staff, and how much is she absorbing now as a coach as opposed to as a player?
She has just been a delightful, wonderful breath of fresh air. Mainly because, she's played in it. She understands it. She's lived every single day, walking on this campus and understanding, our fans and expectations and, just really what it means to be a Drake women's basketball player. And I think, it's been fantastic because she spent a year overseas and then now she's back. I think she also has, a gratefulness too, to be back involved in basketball and to be around these women. So she's been, whether we talk about the basketball side of things or what she's been able to do, for our program in the community, she's just a noteworthy, phenomenal player that we get the opportunity to have around on a day-to-day basis. And, her impact on our program was from day one. She's just added so much. And, Courtney Rush is the exact same way in our operations role. And she's the exact same, where it's just been great to be able to have former players because they have that little added bit of, just heart and love and affinity for, Drake basketball. And so it's been special to be able to be around them. And it's been really cool to watch them share their stories with the women on our team.
And Tanya, you have Caitlin Oney on staff in her first year as an assistant, was part of a couple of your very successful teams that made it to the NCAA tournament?
First of all, she brings great experience from a coaching standpoint and obviously a playing standpoint. And she knows what it means to be a UNI women's basketball player. She was part of the building blocks for the success of this program. She takes great pride. She loves this place. She bleeds purple and gold. And she knows what it takes to compete for a championship. But she adds so much to the community. She's a phenomenal coach, but she's an even better person. And it's always fun to be able to bring those back who want to come back and share their experiences with the younger players and help them experience some of those good experiences and also the bad, because I think it's give and take anytime you have a career at the collegiate level and even at the high school level, but to be able to share both the good and the bad, but more than anything else, she's a terrific young lady, and we're very, very excited to have her back as a part of our program.
Well, I guess one last question, I think, from me. These games between the two of you always seem to go, we always get a little bonus basketball. We always seem to get overtimes. Any prediction for the game on Friday?
Well, let me correct you there, because we haven't had any of that as of late. I mean, they dominated us, just dominated us. But I do think what you'll see from both programs is both teams are going to play extremely hard. Both teams are going to play the game the right way. And as Allison said earlier, both programs are well respected, not only in the state, but around the country. Both teams are very talented, and both teams know each other extremely well. We have a lot of kids that played with her kids. She has a lot of kids that played with ours. And this is the most important game because it's the next game. We have a lot of respect for Drake, and I know Drake has a lot of respect for us. So it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully it's extremely exciting, and hopefully we do get an overtime. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I can't do anything but echo what Coach Warren says. I think I'm just really hopeful that, Des Moines does a great job, and, same thing, UNI fans come out. I hope we have a phenomenal environment for a game. And these are the best games because I think that we have people fall more in love with women's basketball because, for us, we just hope to make like a basket or two, we got to be able to put the ball in the hole. And I know they will. And I know, so it's just going to be, I just hope for, a barn burner where we can maybe, throw up a little exciting overtime sort of situation. And just make an exciting environment where both of our teams are able to get better on Friday.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a fun one Friday, 6:00 on the ESPN app. You can catch it. It's the Valley Game of the Week. I got an idea here. How about you three this summer? Maybe we start like a Legends 3-on-3 league. You three right here, first team, all Iowa natives. I'll be your coach if you need a coach.
I'm too old for that. I'm retired.
I'm still
First
trying to
thing
figure
I'll
out,
say.
is Law gonna just shoot? I'm like waiting to find out exactly what, because I heard about the bad hip and I don't know if it's a bad knee. I know her golf swing's pretty impressive, but I'm thinking about personnel.
Right.
I totally agree with you. I don't play defense, so you guys take that for what it's worth.
Okay, so you're saying we'd be playing 3-on-2.
Yes.
Is what we would be playing.
At least you're honest. I love it.
Thanks a lot for your time today, Allison, Tanya, and Laura and I will have the broadcast 6:00 UNI at Drake.